Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this. You might be on the toilet at midnight. I don't even know. Hi, Josh RV Nerd with Bish's RV. Starting off with a bang here today, apparently. If what you're looking for is a small camper, but not a basic cheap camper, that's where this one's going to come in. This is a fantastic model for solo camping. If you want the extra space and features and touches, you're going to use it a lot, but maybe you're camping small. Or if there's a couple of you, and maybe you're more in the Netflix and chill phase and less of the Amazon Prime and commitment phase, because this has a 60 by 80 True Queen bed, which is great, but it is a corner bed where you're climbing over one another. So maybe you feel a certain way about that. I don't know. What's awesome about this is it has more storage in terms of cubic foot of capacity versus most single axle small campers you typically run into. And this thing also has a sofa slide with a floating dinesque kind of table, if you will, a dinofa table, not a dinesque table. That's a different nerdism. I'm stupid. What it does, though, is it makes this small camper not look and feel so small when you're in it for an extended time. But you still have a place to eat. You have a place to lounge. You got a place to stretch out. You have plenty of spots to put all your stuff as well. And with one of the best kitchen arrangements I think I've seen in a small camper, and I have very few critiques of it personally. Now, what's also nice is this has a little bit more of a bazooka butt friendly bathroom than most single axle little campers tend to have. The shower headroom's a little short for a big guy like me, but I could still probably make it work. You know, you're camping. It's not the Hilton, as it were. Actually, I've seen some RVs. I'd rather stay in overnight than some hotels, but neither here nor there. Updated solar package. It does have a sewer hose tube in the bottom, an enclosed underbelly, which is rare. Bunch of other really cool things, and it's got a couple things you might not like too, like I mentioned the corner bed. I'm going to try to just tell you exactly what this thing offers and what it doesn't to let you decide if it's the right one for you, because I'm not the authority, and it's your money, not mine, potentially being spent here. So I just want to educate you and help you narrow it down. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. And as we go, let me know what you like and what you don't about the camper. If we take a peek at the Nerd Vision map, we can see that basically where I'm at, I'm effectively sitting on the front bed. I don't use fisheye wide-angle lenses. This RV could look very large and very impressive. You're like, wow, it's small, but it's huge inside, which is one of the things that irks me. Whenever I see a single axle camper, a small camper RV video on the internet, I swear there's always some thumbnail like huge inside. And no, it's not. Just don't lie to me. Sorry, that's just a thing. Moving on. Either way, I don't know if Grand Design has ever really put heat vents in the floor of their Imagines. What do you think about this flooring, by the way? I've seen a couple comment, like, it seems to be very polarizing. People are like, ooh, that's really nice. Or like, absolutely not. What was somebody thinking? I don't know. I'm no Martin Stewart. Like, I'm not an interior decorator. Martin Stewart, by the way, is an alternate universe gender-bent Martha Stewart and hangs out with Snoop Cat, in case you weren't aware. That's what happens in the alternate universe. That is a 12-volt fridge, by the way, back on topic. Notice that it actually has a dedicated freezer drawer down below. It's kind of a cool thing that, what is it? It's like 5.3, 5.7, 6 cubic foot, something like that. But, is it the largest fridge I've ever seen in a single axle camper? No, it's not one of those 10 cubic foot fridge varieties, but it also means you have some good dedicated pantry space above it. I personally feel it's big enough for a small camper like this, but everyone has their own opinions. Like, that's just my opinion, man, as the dude would say. Look at the counter space in here, though. And look at this. I don't know how they managed to do this for fire code, but they have 0 metallic mini blinds anywhere around that kitchen. Most RV manufacturers, for fire code reasons, always tell me they have to do some metallic mini blinds. So evidently, they figured that out. Now, this model's been in production a couple years. It's not like they just were like Judas Priest breaking the law. Actually, you know what? That's I used to be in a loud, annoying Southern Michigan rock band, and that's a song that we used to play. Oh my Lord, that was fun. It was never very good, but we had a lot of fun, made a lot of noise. Anyway, from the sofa, you're staring at the TV. You know what? I'm not trying to mislead you. I kind of took a knee on the sofa. If I actually sit down on the sofa, I'm all the way on the left-hand side of the slide. This is what it looks like right here. So this is a more natural, real world look at that. Again, I'm never trying to like misrepresent something. Under the overhead cabinets, you can see your household outlets. Now, there are some USB plugs over here. You see this little black dot on the countertop, which, man, there's a lot of counter space in this one. This is a wireless phone charge pad, but if you, come on, pop, there you go. You got dual USB plugs, but you can also just make it go away. I kind of personally prefer a full-on pop-up power tower, but those would potentially fight for space with the drawers that are down here because, you know, physics says two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. It just doesn't work like that. Full-size 13,500 BTU roof air, but one of the cool things, imagine AIM is rocking a low-profile air conditioner to help keep the overall exterior height clearance in check. So if you have low-hanging tree branches or something like that, you have a little bit more space there. Now, there's a bunch of little details that are very easily missed that I like to point out, like the fact that they're actually including a privacy shade in the door. The way that they give you just, it's a simple but effective, either like jacket hanging thing, a place to put your keys maybe, or like a little dog leash rack or something like that right by the door. Very, very handy. And as someone who camps myself, I look at that pocket of space right there, like where that fire extinguisher is located. I'm like, that's where the shoes are going, because they'll be right by the door, but they'll be out of the way at the same time. And it is an east-west corner bed, which I know some people are like, I don't like that. If they went with a north-south bed, they would have to make the RV longer and heavier, and at that point, you're back in a tandem axle camper, and you're like, well, that's fine. I like that. Well, at that point, look at a 17 MKE Imagine. So if you want a front north-south bed, they already build that. It's just a different model, but it's heavier. It's more expensive by a clip. So, you know, each one of their floor plans serves a different purpose within the family. I also really want to point out something I know some people really like. That's a 60 by 80 true queen bed. When you're in the single axle camper segment, a lot of times you run into a lot of short queens or some weird full XL or something like that. This is just a real honest to goodness residential American queen bed right there. Now, that mattress is nothing to write home about. That's a backbreaker death wafer kind of mattress, because most people are probably, there's too many preferences on sleeping, so they can't target a good mattress from the factory. So they do something basic. You could throw a foam topper on it, you could replace it, and with the bed being right next to the entry door, it's very easy to replace as a result. But again, one of the things they've done very well here is really maximize the storage in this. And I get it, it's low, it's down by the ground, but they basically maximize potential dresser space in this thing in a way that most manufacturers just don't and or won't. So I really respect that. They just, you know, they could have made it a little less expensive. They could have made it a little bit lighter, but the practical everyday user features and functions, they're all here. Like, I don't know if you're really getting a good sense of how much storage is up here. Here, I'm going to take my phone and turn on the light so you can see, slide that all the way back there. Like, I'm not using a wide angle lens. That's just a really big cabinet. Hey, by the way, don't let me forget my phone is up there. I'm going to be a sad panda if I end up leaving that behind. Single hanging closet, but it's a single axle camper that very often they give you 0 hanging closets. So I ain't mad at it. I'm just going to say, hey, thanks for doing what you did. And it's kind of one of those, I'm going to get what I get and not throw a fit sort of situations. And just like we were talking about earlier, you know, every little opportunity they have, they really maximize the storage capacity. Oh, hey, look above that heat vent. There's the thing right above it. It's a motion sensor with a little light that only points down. So what it means is you don't have to leave like lights on in the camper to see when you walk in. And if you wake up at night and you want to ski-daddle your way to the bathroom or the refrigerator or whatever the case may be, it casts indirect light downward so you can see where you're walking without, you know, getting blinded by the light. Anyway, who did it better? Springsteen or Manfred Mann's Earth Band? I don't know. Anyway, again, electric convection microwave oven. When it's that size, air fryer and convection are the same thing. I know that technically, in theory, they're different, but in that size, they really are the same thing. It's kind of funny. I don't know that a lot of Americans realize the benefits of convection, But I think it's simply because convection never really caught on. It wasn't a big deal in America, in our kitchens. We had big enough kitchens where we never had to worry about condensing appliances. But air fryers have become very, very popular. It's not technically the same, but it's ultra, ultra similar. I tell you what, we got an air fryer in my house, and it changed everything I thought I knew about life. Like, my daughter thought she hated leftovers until we got an air fryer. Now sometimes she's like, can I get extra, and then can we reheat them in the air fryer tomorrow? But basically, sorry, I got way off topic kind of there. What I'm getting at is anything that you can basically bake in a small RV propane oven, you could bake in that electric convection microwave, but you can't do it with propane. So for park campers like me, it's absolutely awesome. For boondock folks, it's not absolutely awesome. I really do like what they've done with their window treatments here, though. Instead of some big boxy valance and lambrequin that's held together by staples and your imagination, I swear some of those things are made out of kindergartner paste that Cousin Gary used to eat. It's just a simple cover on a roller. It's clean. It's sleek. I like it. I'm not an interior decorator. We already established that, but I kind of like it. And if you remember from our floor plan in a flash, this includes the floating Dinofa table. But what's less obvious here, it's one of the more sturdy and secure systems because the entire leg assembly is one pre-made piece. So it's not like something was mounted crooked or out of sync. The thing is, though, it's not as great outside unless you have like a concrete pad. It's cool that it floats. You want to take it outside, you could, but you really need level ground to put that under. The other thing about that is it is height adjustable. So if you want to move it down to coffee table height in front of that sofa, you could. Like, this floor plan, I think for a small camper has an amazing kitchen, but for some reason, in theory, if you felt it didn't, all you got to do is slide it right over here, and suddenly you have like a huge countertop extension. Another thing that I'm kind of realizing staring at this right now, it's not necessarily ideal, and you might need to bring a little chair or stool or something, but for like a quick pinch, if you had to like set up a laptop or something like that, you've got, your household and your USB plugs not too far away. You could do a quick little mini mobile office triage station here and to get through an emergency workday. Actually, one of he started as a viewer, became a friend, later became one of our customers. Is a fellow that does literal cybersecurity for Microsoft, and that happened to him. There was a Christmas a couple years ago. People didn't realize we almost literally lost the internet. Basically, that's a thing that can happen. And he was part of an international effort to keep the internet alive. Basically, from a table. The crazy stuff like that. Let me get back on topic. While I'm facing up here, headroom in the shower. It's a 6.5 foot sidewall, which if you're over 6 foot like me, by the time you step up in the shower because of plumbing reasons, your head's in the skylight. It is what it is. But you've got that retractable squeegee kind of shower door action going on there. I've always said this. I love a window in a bathroom. I would never have that open, but I love the look of it. It just really churches the place up, I always like to say. Toilet space is awesome. This, by the way, if you like this camper, you like this big bathroom, you like how you can see here, there's plenty of room around the toilet, but you don't want to slide, you want something a little less expensive, a little bit lighter weight, look at the 15RB Imagine. I happen to know some nerdy dork who has done a video on it, but it has essentially the exact same bathroom. You've got this exact same huge counter space. Listen to this right here. At a glance, you're like, oh, it's just a black plastic sink. But listen, I'm going to do the Wolverine claw method. It's not plastic. I think it's I can't remember. I think it's called Stonecast. But it's something that's far more heat and impact resistant, which I think is really, really cool. Now, if I get around the corner over here, we've got the interesting alien Easter Island towel hangers going on right here. You can also see how we've got a mirror going on, so you can reflect on your choices in life. I don't know what I was going for there, but I know it didn't exactly land how I hoped. Hi, this is the jokes that we get today, guys. Take a look at the right side of the screen, giving you a look inside of all that storage space right there. like the cabinet to the right of the medicine cabinet, I think that's probably what I would call the linen cabinet. That's what I would use as the linen cabinet. I'd probably roll some towels up burrito style and stuff them in there. And I think that you can actually really pack a lot into this bathroom. I really love the good drawer space in that bathroom too. The only thing I feel this kitchen and this bathroom are sort of lacking is just a dedicated wastebasket space. What's funny is Imagine has been trying to accomplish that in more and more of their models. This one right here, though, it's just a little bit trickier to accomplish. Something that this floor plan does well, though, that's road mode. I've now got the slide retracted, and as you can see, you can navigate through the entire RV very easily. Frankly, you still even have room to put that table in front of the sofa if for some reason you really, really wanted to. It kind of begs the question, why don't they make a no-slide version of this? Again, they kind of do. That would sort of be the 15RB Imagine. It's not the exact same floor plan, but it really does actually make me wonder, is there a world in which it makes sense for there to exist a no-slide version of this? Because this, even with the slide closed, this is a dynamite floor plan, right? By the way, if you enjoy seeing road mode like this, if you're new at the channel, maybe tap that subscribe button, because it's something that I try to do for you every time, because I know everyone camps different, and I'm trying to showcase anything that I really can. Now, what's nice is, despite this being a little bit bigger than most single-axle smaller campers, it's not necessarily heavier than some of the other single-axle smaller campers I've seen, especially considering that this has a slide-out that a lot of them don't. The trick is, it does weigh enough that it has what I will say is a modest cargo capacity. So where I live here around Michigan, almost everybody park camps. There's some boondocking for sure, but like out west, I know that there's a ton of dispersed boondocking. Folks camp different out there. Where I'm from, people don't need to carry water in the tank, so this thing is going to be perfectly fine. If you live in if you prefer rather a boondocking experience, if you are putting water in the tanks, you might want to keep in mind how much total weight you're throwing at this thing. So that, I try to, again, I don't want you to just buy a camper from us. I want you to choose the correct camper from us. And I'd like you to choose to purchase from Bish's RV and not just get your business. I think there's a difference there. Anyway, power tongue jack so you don't get tennis elbow cranking your hitch on the front end here. And double propane tanks is kind of a rare quality on smaller RVs. Not exclusive to Imagine, but the vast minority. The vast majority, I guess technically that's right. But most little campers don't do that. Front and rear stabilizers is another thing you got to really watch for on single axle campers. A lot of brands just don't do that. Saves a couple bucks, makes it a little bit lighter, but it also, if you're motion sick, man, you feel like you're wiggling the entire time. If you ask if the camper's got wiggle room, if it doesn't have front stabilizer jacks, yeah, it's got plenty of wiggle room. Whole thing wiggles. Really nice front pass-through compartment on this, and it actually has on the other side, I'll get you a better look at it in a few minutes, basically a consolidated docking center, kind of enclosed and protected in there. But oh, hello, motion lighting. I could not have planned that better. That was perfect. Now, you might have noticed, if you were looking a few minutes ago, the chassis looks different. This is not your traditional I-beam frame chassis. This is a Norco huck-bolted Z-frame. I haven't said this in a while, so why not bust this out? It's made with HSLA steel, high strength, low alloy. Basically, it means that it's thinner and lighter without losing structural integrity. Not the world's biggest awning, that's a smaller, they put the biggest awning on it they could. I'm not knocking the awning. I also want to give them credit here. They included a stovetop vent hood. So if you are cooking inside on that propane cooktop, you actually can exhaust that heat. Plus, remember, in the living room, you do have that small but basic power vent fan to help keep the air moving and cycling around, This is TPMS prepped, by the way. They don't actually include the tire pressure monitoring or the toilet paper management system. But it's plug and play easy. I've done it on campers before. It's very, very simple. They also include the just a built-in little griddle station, kind of snuck in under the bathroom area on these. If you don't care for it, you don't have to use it. You could take it off of there and just have a little metallic shelf that opens up if you're so inclined. But hey, there you go. Now, that's an on-demand water heater, 60,000 BTU variety, and basically it's right next to the bathroom and the kitchen. So you're going to get your hot water flow straight to those fixtures as quickly as possible. And lordy, this was quite nearly equipped with RV Nerdism number 37, the Propanus. That's when the gas comes out the backside. But your gas grill hookup technically shoots sideways, so that does, in theory, classify it as the propane cooker hooker. But woo, she's close. She is close for sure.
Phrasing.
The ladder on the back, 250-pound rated to get you up to that walkable roof for your seasonal maintenance and upkeep items. Always makes me laugh how many RV manufacturers are like, yep, you need to get up and inspect your roof every 30 days or else your warranty's blah. And you're like, okay, so how do I get up there? They're like, no idea. Didn't give you a ladder. Deal with it. I sounded like Jim Gaffigan right there almost. Okay, moving on. I'll take it if I can sound like Jim. I'll trade paychecks with Jim Gaffigan. How about we work that out? Anyway, up on the roof, you can actually sort of see it above the slide out right now. 200-watt solar panel, which is pretty industry common at this stage. But there were a number of years there that Imagine was rocking about a 165-watt panel. So I just want to mention, you know, when they've made a couple little updates and upgrades, I want to let you know what they're doing, where they're doing it. It doesn't have a rear bumper, but you can see the receiver hitch sticking out the back. That's a Class 2 receiver. So it's a more lighter, I'm going to say like residential duty, not industrial grade kind of hitch there. It's made for like just 2 bikes on a rack or like a spare tire. Even though the spare tire is belly mounted, you can also see that under the slide out with the sewer hose tube right now. Speaking of sewer stuff, single sewer outlet on this one. So your kitchen, your bathroom, everything all exhausts to that one singular point, which is, I think when Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about the singularity point, I think that's what he's talking about. Now, it looks awful dark in here, but one of the cool things is that this pass-through actually has a handy little motion light kind of thing that, you can see activated with my Go-Go Gadget arm on the other side of the screen. Oh, look at this. I really like that rubberized, like toy hauler flooring. This is the same kind of flooring they'd use in the garage of like a Momentum fifth wheel toy hauler. That's kind of cool. Oh, this is another major update. Imagine has really been listening, and they've been really taking your feedback into account. There have been a lot of people who said, we don't like Schwintek slides. And they said, all right, you got it. They have removed them entirely. This is a slim rack slide system that I think you might be able to actually sit in that while it's retracted. I know you can do that in Brinkley bed slides. I wonder, you know what? I need to verify that. So, I should have double checked before I ran my mouth. Anyway, they changed the slide system. There you go. So thanks again for tuning in. As I typically tend to do, I'm going to drop you links in the description, a bunch of different ones. First of all, you want to double check MSRP or availability on one of these at our Bish's locations. We carry Grand Design at a lot of our stores. So there's usually one not too terribly far away for you. And this is a model that we like to keep on hand when we can, but it is popular and sometimes we get sold off and we have to restock some. We don't sell for MSRP, by the way, and we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we, with this company, can only publish MSRP on our website. So keep that in mind. If you're like, how many thousands of dollars? No, the number you see on our website is not the actual tag on one of these when it's brand new. It's just what we have to do. Anyway, if you like this thing, but you see that, you're like, oh man, I do like it, but it's just a little bit more than I think I want to swing. There are some other brands who make a layout like this now. They don't have all the features this has, but they also don't have all the budget this one has. So take a look at those. Let me know which one you'd go with and why. And if you appreciate how we get down here and we just lay it on the line and let you decide if it's the right one or not. And we don't tell you it's the right one or not. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.